I'm a little ashamed to admit that when ChatGPT first came out, I probably took a couple weeks to actually try it. I thought it was another overhyped thing that was promising to be AI that wasn't. I tried everything before and none of it had worked. Then I tried it and I texted my boss, holy crap, have you seen ChatGPT? Because I realized then that my job as it currently wasn't going to be around in 5 years. And I'm telling you this because a couple of weeks ago, ChatGPT released agents and I probably shrugged, what's the big deal? I'm all in on Claude, and I waved it off. But I might have made that same mistake again. So today we're fixing it. We're going to look at ChatGPT agents properly. I'll explain it slowly in plain English without all the hype. And then we're going to build one step by step together, start to finish. So you can even follow along in this video if you want. And you'll know by the end of this video whether it's actually worth your time in your work, in your business. Before we actually start building, I want to actually show you what I built this morning. This is my sales assistant agent. And what's awesome is it's set up to literally do any sales task I ask. So I can ask it things like, can you go into my Gmail and find all the highest revenue opportunities that I'm missing right now in my inbox? And straight away, we get the top near-term opportunities, the things that are already there that I haven't been taking advantage of, such as Zapier, Typeless, Sinatra, all looking for promotions or to work with me in some sort of collaborations, which I don't actually do on the channel, but there's a lot of revenue just sat there. We've got other revenue leads outside of sponsorships, of some potential speaking gigs, some other collaborations. And then it goes through and ranks them about which we should go through first. Now, the cool thing is as well, the agent just went straight through and started drafting all of these replies to Zapier, to Typeless. I don't even have to think about it. It's trained on all of my playbooks, how I would like to run these sorts of things. And it's just going to go and fire back the replies for me automatically. And I can even set this on a schedule to go and just run every morning to make sure I'm not missing any of these high ROI, high revenue opportunities, which is something that I suck at. I tend to spend more time making my YouTube videos and my content than actually generating revenue. So having a sales assistant in my pocket ready to go is a massive bonus for someone like me. So what actually is a ChatGPT agent? Well, on your sidebar, you'll see on the left-hand side here, you can hit Browse Agents. This is where you're going to find it in your ChatGPT account. Now, I will say at the time of recording, this is only available on the business and Teams plans and something like that. It's not actually rolled out to the normal plus and obviously definitely not on the free plans. And in comparison to just a normal ChatGPT window, an agent isn't just a conversational back and forth. It's actually able to complete and execute tasks on your own. As you've just seen, it's gone and ranked opportunities in my inbox and then written the replies to the emails for me. And it can do that on an automated schedule or trigger as well. Unlike things like Claude Co-work, where it has to sit on your computer has to be on, has to be scheduled tasks, these just work within ChatGPT. So they can just be always on, running in the cloud. As you can see here, keep work moving with 24/7 agents. And there's even some options here that it throws my way. Start with a proven workflow, so it's got some templates. We've got build agents that reply in Slack for me, or we can create tailored ones as well. So to just give you a little under the hood look at this first one I've built here, if we go to edit agent, you can actually see everything that's packed in here, which is more than just a normal chat. So the key first area of your agent are the app skills and files. This is essentially all of the access to knowledge and ways of working that you want it to have. So you can see for this sales agent, it needs Google Calendar, it needs my Notion, it needs my Gmail. These are my three areas. This is where inquiries are going to come in and out of. This is where my project workflows sit. And this is where we're going to be booking calls if needed. Then we've got all the different skills that need to be built in here. So skills are just repeatable prompts and long custom instructions that tell an agent or tell a piece of AI exactly step by step how you want it to act. It's like a recipe for getting stuff done. So you can see we've got an account intelligence monitor, competitive intelligence, create an asset, internal navigation, draft outreach, deal strategy, customer follow-up, and 9 more, meeting prep. There's so many built in here. And you might be thinking now, like, oh, have we got to make all of this? Well, sort of, but we can help use AI to help us actually do it. Plus, we've got files. We've got some memory in here, so it's always going to remember where we are and what it's been through, what we've got coming up next. And we've got some other files that we can add in here as well, which is actually some connectors. But I could give it even more context about my business. Like I could give it context and say, actually, I don't take collabs on my YouTube channel, so disqualify all of those opportunities, either in the uploaded files about how my business runs or in the next bit, which are your main custom instructions. These are essentially like your massive prompt. So we've got role. You're a sales agent, helps users build context, the scope. So you can see these are built literally like really in-depth prompts. The scope, what it's actually going to do, competitive research, meeting prep, forecast reviews, all those skills essentially it's referencing there. And then it's got the directory of skills it has access to as well. So it'll be able to tell very quickly what skills it needs to reach for given any sort of command or process in its workflow. Then we've got the instructions of how we want it to work. So these are things that we want it to do: reading the latest requests, identifying my goals, accepting notes, transcripts, before going on to the sources and tools, which are all the tools that we've just talked about at the top: Gmail, calendar, and how they work and what they do, plus web search in there as well. Plus then the default workflow behaviors, response styles. It goes on and on and on. Quite complicated. If you were to try and sit and write these yourself, you'd be there for an hour thinking, what do I actually need to put in here? Now, on the left side of this setup as well, you can have testing. So we can just go and test it back and forth before we actually let it loose. We can add some advanced logic in here if we actually want to go even more in depth, but we can work in a conversational manner. So if there's anything complex that you're like, I need you to do this, but if that happens, then do this, you can tell it to do that in the bottom left here in a conversational manner, and ChatGPT is going to write that rule for you. Plus, we can either configure when the agent runs down here to get it to set up schedules and triggers, or we can go into the top right here, click this schedule button. I'll just show you again. Click this schedule button in the top right. Then we can set it to run every morning at 8 a.m. in the United Kingdom, and even give it some additional instructions, because you can see this sales agent can do a lot of different stuff. We could say, I just want you to scan my inbox for the highest revenue opportunities that match my business to make sure we're not missing anything. These are my current highest focuses right now. So it's actually a very simple setup behind the scenes. It's just like building a massive custom prompt with some skills and some apps all linked together. So let's actually go and build one. Again, if we go back to the agents, the main agents area, which you should see in your left-hand side bar here, you should see agents. You can click this plus button even to open up this create and build a new agent page. Now, what you'll notice is we don't start in this blank page and start adding connectors ourselves. We can do that. If you want to click start blank and build it manually yourself, then you can do. But why build it manually yourself when ChatGPT is here to help? And I want to go into, I've got my AI recipe vault here. This is walkthroughs, step-by-steps, prompts for all these different processes. Now, I've got one for building a ChatGPT agent here, and there's a link in the description where you can get this recipe. But I've got some prompts in here for you to actually start using. And we're going to start this first one off. I'm just going to copy this one rather than me trying to dictate it live. I've already pre-written what I want it to do. So I want an agent that researches a competitor for me. I'll give it a competitor's name or website. It should search the web, look at their website and their recent content, and write me a one-pager competitor brief. The brief should cover what they sell, who's it's for, how they position themselves, their main message, their pricing, if it's public, etc. Pick out weak spots, opportunities for me to get ahead, keep it factual, even if it can't verify something, say so rather than guess. Output is as clean, one-pager brief with clear headings. Then I'm also going to say, because I run a YouTube and content-led business, I want you to then pair that with the information in my business whenever asked, and actually start building out some opportunistic content ideas that are trending based on competitor data, but are hitting gaps that they are missing. So I actually wanted to give it some other output as well, not just give me a competitor brief here. And the first step it's going to go through is going to give you a plan to go through about how it's going to build this. So respond to messages in ChatGPT, write the brief, analyze positioning gaps, and generate content opportunities. This is very simple start. You can see we're just working conversationally. I'm going to get into, once we built it, how we can iterate, improve it, add the right information in there to actually make this run with real power. Now, while it's building, you'll see it's actually going into the ChatGPT interface. You can see the screen is glowing blue here. That means it's actually the agent is building an agent. So we're kind of in an agentception here, where it's actually using the ChatGPT area of how to build an agent itself. And this is good because you'll actually see how it's constructing it manually, clicking, thinking step by step. So the more you watch and learn how it's building, you can then learn how to go and build them manually if you want something very specific that you don't feel ChatGPT is going to hit the right notes for you. And remember when I showed you in the previous screen how we had a litany of different skills. We had 10 or 20 different skills built into my previous agent. You can see this one is actually building the skills as it goes that it's going to need to rely on. And again, this is going to be very generic out the box. So you will need to take time to maybe actually tweak, improve, make adjustments to get this running just how you want. And that's where the real level up comes, is spending those can be 10 or 20 hours in times actually working back and forth with the agent and the editor to actually refine this to give outputs that almost you don't ever need to check, or very, very close. You can just give them a once pass over. Whereas just out the box, these agents, if you skip the bit where you're actually training it how you want it, for example, in my sales agent, it was writing sales emails back to people. Well, I haven't trained it on my voice and how I like to write. So that's a massive area that I need to spend time improving that agent, so it's not just generic, out the box AI generalist, and actually is suitable for my business and my brand. Now, after a few minutes, this is what you'll get. You can see this is a very simplistic agent, competitor brief strategist, and all it's doing is using this competitor business onboarding skill that it's built. It's going to add some memory, but it doesn't really do anything else. It's just going to dump information out in the chat. We've got our main prompt about when to use the skill, supporting files, memory state, and some pre-flight. It's not actually that well trained or got that much information. So I want to actually make some edits to this. Now I'm going to give it the ability to add some apps. So what I want is my Notion. I'm going to link it to my Notion database and add that in there because I want it to be able to put my competitor briefs in my competitor research area of Notion. Also want to add some specific skills, some of my custom skills that I've built, such as we can go and either use some of the previous ones that I've already uploaded to ChatGPT, such as my framework creator might be really nice here because this is actually able to reverse engineer content, working systems, what I do, what other people do, and create like a 3, 4, 5 step framework for anyone to follow. Super useful when researching competitors and breaking down exactly how they do stuff. I'm also going to upload skills from my desktop because I have these sat, because remember, skills can jump between different platforms. So skills that I build in Claude, I can put into ChatGPT and vice versa. And so what I've uploaded also are my Elliott voice copywriter. This is a skill that literally trains AI how to write in my voice. You can see here your ghostwriting for Elliot Prince, a British AI coach, etc. We've got some non-negotiables and a whole bunch of stuff in here about how I like to write. Plus, I've got, this is a nice one, positioning angles. This helps us take ideas and position them nicely for the market, which could be useful in taking these opportunities that competitors are missing and repositioning them, or taking their ideas and repositioning them for my business. And then the other thing I want to upload here is some more context about me and my business, because otherwise we're just running blind with this agent. It doesn't really know what it's actually working with or towards. It's like plugging an intern into your business and not telling it what you do. So I'm going to give it an about me and my business file here. Now, because I've added these extra pieces here, and this is still quite a simple agent, remember, we could have dozens of skills, dozens of files, dozens of apps to start connecting it up. But I just want to take things simple to build at the moment. We need to go and edit our agent. So I'm going to go and start giving it this brain dump of what I've just added and how I want it to work. So I've just added my framework creator skill, my Elliott voice copywriter skill, and my positioning angles, plus a file about my business. Now, bearing this in mind, I also want the skill to be able to analyze a piece of content or a piece of information or a YouTube video that I might give it from a creator, and then give me back a framework for the topic they're talking about so I can easily understand, digest, and actually teach this stuff to other people. You've got your Elliott voice copywriter, so it should be able to write outputs in my voice rather than generic AI outputs. And positioning angles is really useful because it helps us reposition ideas based on my business and my market. You've also got a file about me and my business, so you always have context about what we're striving towards and what I do. And now we can work conversationally. It's all about communication, making sure we're hitting those right notes for AI to go and actually then build and rebuild our custom instructions. And as we build, we can start adding more complex stuff in here, get it to do more and more things, more and more automation. So it might even go and take some competitors' content, look at it, work out the gap, and then go and build out the brief. I have even a skill that's my AI recipe creator here that helps me build these AI recipes in my Notion database that I was showing you. To go and, like this one, to go and build out my AI recipes so I can jump on my computer in the morning. I can start shooting my video knowing that I've got the exact how to do something, the extra prompts written for people to dive in when they need them. And what you'll see as well, it doesn't just build in, hey, use this skill. It's actually going to go and read these skills to understand how they work here, and the about me and my business, to build that into some quick fire notes and rules within my custom instructions here, this mega prompt down the middle, which is still quite bare. And the only thing you need to remember to do once you've made these changes is hit update so they actually apply live to the agent. But now I'm pretty confident we're in a good spot to actually start testing how this works to see, is it actually going to be able to deliver that first step of what I need? So now in our left sidebar here, we should have our new agent, our competitor brief strategist. And let's try it out on some of my YouTube competitors, and you'll be able to see the sort of people I follow here on the left-hand side here. All of these worth a follow if you're looking here. Let's go with Corey, actually, because I did a great podcast with him the other day, and he's really going deep into so much AI stuff as well. He's got a great new community, I think, on School as well. Definitely worth checking out. But I'm just going to grab that link, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to just give it links and it'll be able to work. So I'm going to give you a YouTube link for Corey Gannam for his YouTube channel. Let's go and find content gaps that I could start using based on what's performing well for him. So again, we don't have to be so aggressive with our prompting when we built out these agents with all these contexts. Now, I also want to talk about what you'll notice in the back end while that actually runs, because what you'll notice when we look at the back side of this agent here is something really key about building with AI. You can see there are 4 main steps to building an AI agent. And when you break them down, they're actually incredibly simple. There's 1, the custom instructions. If you do not know how to prompt engineer and write great prompts and what they should look like and how to improve and iterate upon them, then you're going to struggle building agents. Yes, ChatGPT was able to write these for me, but I'm able to understand and look at them, what good and what bad looks like, what's missing, how I could go in and actually edit these myself if I wanted to add some more guardrails and rules manually, rather than relying AI to try and rewrite stuff. I can actually get real granular with how I want these instructions to work. Then you've got the other thing that people miss, the files. So this is the knowledge base that your agent is working off. Whether this is in a Claude project or a ChatGPT Workspace Agent or anywhere else on the web, if you do not have the core business knowledge about your brand, your business, what you do, your customer profile, your products and services, then you're running blind. Again, it's like plugging an intern into your business and not telling it what you sell. Like, it's going to make a lot of mistakes and just be way off the mark. Then we've got the skills. These are like the standard operating procedures, the step-by-step instructions of how to perform one single task. So a lot of mistakes people make when building skills are they try and get it to do 17 things, or they try to write prompts that can do 17 different things. Really, we want it to do one thing really, really well, not be a generalist and do everything average. And then there's apps, or sometimes called connectors. Where else are we reaching in and out of to actually execute work? So we're not just a chatbot. We can actually go into Notion, see my task board. We could go into Slack and send messages. We could log into Adobe or Canva and start designing whatever it is you want it to do. And so those are the 4 key areas to building a project, an AI agent, whatever it is. Connectors or apps, skills, the file base and the knowledge, and the custom instructions, or the main overarching prompt of what we're doing here. And you can see that coming into action now as it's pulling in Corey's current channel patterns and looking at my saved business context to understand what are the practical content gaps that I should be attacking based on his high performing content and what I do. And it's come out with some really interesting angles here. Depth on Claude native thinking. That's something I do a lot. I focus heavily on Claude and teaching people to use Claude, although I know we're in ChatGPT today because we've got to stay on the frontier here of what's working really well. Our frameworks over one-off hacks. This is really interesting. A lot of people just posting their best hacks and tips and tricks. Actually, we need to start building these into frameworks, which is really cool because remember, I have my framework skill to help reverse engineer these sorts of things. Now, this is a really interesting angle because one thing I've noticed in the world is everyone wants to use AI. There's a lot of hype online. There's a lot of people showing you how incredible they are at using AI. What I'm trying to do is teach AI to people. But is there anyone out there that's actually teaching people how to teach AI so that we're actually getting whole new line of consultants, coaches, trainers that can go out in the world and serve these millions and billions of people that are trying to learn this stuff? There's a massive gap in the market for that actually at the moment, which is an interesting angle that I really love. And then we've got some content ideas inspired by all of this, maybe Claude led, how to actually train your team to use AI. I think that content could be a massive, massive hit. Hit me up in the comments if you want a video on how you should go about training your team in your business to actually use AI. Where do you start rather than just firing YouTube videos around? You could be the leading educator in your business, which would be great, especially if you're in charge of operations or the founder of the business. You can lead your business into this new frontier. And here's what I really love as well, because we've got these different skills built in, we can turn 10 YouTube titles into my tailored voice, get it to help start writing scripts, outline, map my 30-day content plan. We can get it to fire all this stuff into Notion as well. And what's great is, this is a really neat trick in here. If you've actually got projects running and you've got this research agent, you can actually move this file that it's built into your ChatGPT projects, for example, to start running that context elsewhere. Now, the final thing we could do is we could say, actually, we like this, we like the output, it started well. We could now schedule this agent to run daily or hourly, and actually go and say, I want you to research all of the following list of competitors' YouTube channel to find their most recent video and find out what's trending and what's flopping based on other people's channels. And then I can go through and give it a list of other AI YouTubers, or the real smart move was to actually build into its knowledge base just a file of all of my current competitor information and context behind that. So I actually have some other text in here at the moment, which is my closest aspirational benchmarks of who I think I can be similar to or better than, etc. And we can get that to run every day of the week, 8 a.m. So I have this download daily. And we could say, make sure to push the report into my Notion competitor intelligence hub. And I can even give it the direct link to that Notion so that it knows exactly what page to start putting that in. Once that schedule runs, it's good to go, or we can just hit play and run that exact task. So we've layered on a specific task in there for it as well. And it really is as easy as that. ChatGPT agents, don't be scared of them. They're super easy to run. They're very similar to building a project or a custom GPT, but we can add in some automation, some scheduling, multi-step workflows in there, and get quite complex in how they actually respond and run on different triggers. And if you're confused about anything to do with ChatGPT agents, you want anything to do with AI you're confused about, and you want me to cover particular topics, hit me up in the comments, ask your questions, we'll get them answered, and we might even get some content on those questions.